We are still in the camp of the New Patriotic Party because that party appears to be in turmoil, or is it not? It appears to be at a crossroad, or is it not? Is it the case that the center cannot hold in the New Patriotic Party? That's the question we are asking on Face to Face today. I am Umaru Sanda, and I'm going to interview someone who has been in the executive arm of the MPP government, the legislative arm of the MPP government, and currently lobbying to be an administrator of the party. Stay with us. I'll be introducing my guest after this.
In a world filled with challenges, we all need guidance, hope, and a lifeline to anchor us.
This is Lifeline, and I'm your host, Fred Crunchy Mensah.
From social issues, relationship challenges, and family matters, Lifeline is here to inspire, uplift, and guide you on your journey.
Where we give you support, where we hold your hand through the valley and through the thick and thins of life.
Join Bishop Fred Crunchy Mensah.
I welcome you especially to Lifeline.
Every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on Channel 1 TV. Let's walk this path together, strengthen our faith, our families, and our lives. Lifeline, because every soul deserves a guiding light. Tune in to Lifeline on Channel 1 TV and let's grow together.
My guest on Face to Face is a former member of parliament for Subin. He also served as a deputy minister in the Akufo-Addo administration. Now, he wants to be general secretary of the party. The Honorable Eugene Boakye Antwi is my guest. You're welcome to Face to Face.
Thank you, Umaru.
How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm well. How is your position? You are looking fresh. What happened?
Is it that good fresh?
You've got some...
I don't have worries. I guess.
Why don't you have worries? You got defeated like you've never been ever by any political party in this country. You should be worried.
Well, I'm not worried because some of us, we anticipated it. And you see, if you fail to listen to the people, they punish you. So as a politician, you must constantly be listening, constantly be hearing people out. And that's what you fail to do.
It's interesting when you make a comment like that because you were not just a member of parliament, you were also serving in the government, even though you were a deputy minister.
In the first term.
Yeah, in the first term. Is it the case that the first term of Akufo-Addo was good, the second term was bad?
We have to be very frank with ourselves. The best years of Akufo-Addo's 8 years were 2018, 2020, before COVID struck. Those were his best years.
Were they his best years because he was listening to people or because there was no disaster to test his leadership? What went wrong after 2020?
I'm sure because, you see, in your first term, you are expected to be voted for the second term. So you are working towards your second term. So there's more cooperation.
You play nice.
Yes. And because you know you have to go and face the electorate again, you are careful of certain mistakes. But in the second term, because you're not going to contest again, I think all hell broke loose and it cost us.
I'll ask you how bad it was, but before then, since we've mentioned this second term, first term thing, let me just ask your view on John Kufuor had proposed in the past that we should have a one-term presidency where you have, what is it, 7 years or 6 years? 5 years. Do you think that maybe that could be the solution?
Not necessarily, but in 4 years you can't do much. So President Kufuor is right to a large extent because in the first 2017, 2018, we're just struggling to find our feet in government. You understand? But 2018, moving into the first, second quarter of 2019, were the best years because we had weaned ourselves off the IMF We could go to the international market to borrow money. We could then embark on serious infrastructural projects and what have you before COVID struck. So the economy was on the right track before COVID struck.
Yeah.
COVID struck, and then, all hell broke loose. We then had to introduce more austere policies like e-levy, betting tax, and what have you. And those kind of policies didn't help. Because remember in the 2021-22 budget, the then finance minister told the nation that he was going to rely on 2 revenue streams, the property rate and then the e-levy. So he didn't have to go to IMF. But that didn't materialize. So then we were back at IMF. And then after the IMF, there were other austere policies like the DDEP and what have you. The President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo at the time, addressed the nation and assured our savers and pensioners and investors of no haircuts.
Yeah.
Then there were haircuts. And the haircuts, it wiped away investments, it wiped away pensions, it wiped away savings. And that hurt us very badly.
But the test of...
So it just didn't impact the economy. It wounded us.
But the test of a leader is when there is chaos or confusion. Does it mean that your party's leadership failed when there was chaos, as in Ukraine war, COVID pandemic? That was what we wanted to see, true leadership. The president said he knew how to bring economies back, but not lives. But it appears he never managed to bring the economy back.
Yeah, well, I think COVID was a downhill. We went downhill from then. And that was when some of us advocated for the replacement of the then finance minister, because we felt the economy was going to be the asset test of the 2024 elections, or the litmus test of the 2024. So we had to replace him and get somebody fresh to come and do, because see, if you tell the donor partners that you have the capacity, you have the resources, Ghana was too capable, Ghana was too this, to go to IMF, and then you end back at IMF, clearly there will be a deficit of credibility here. You understand? And in the eyes of the international community, our donor partners, they were looking at credibility, right? And some of us believe that he had lost it. These were his own words, right? And then, because the finance minister wasn't replaced, it led to more austere policies like the DDEP and, our external creditors, all the infrastructural projects had to come to a halt. We couldn't develop most of our strongholds, and that all impacted on the results. It's all captured in the data.
Yeah, but the data also does not say necessarily like Ken Ofori-Atta is a problem. So was it Ken Ofori-Atta who was a problem, or Akufo-Addo? Which of the two cousins was?
You see, you blame Ken, but who bears the ultimate responsibility? Who did Ghanaians vote for? Everybody holds a position in government, whether it's Akufo-Addo or John Mahama, at the behest of the president. You understand? So Akufo-Addo appoints, and he can only the only person to disappoint you.
But why? Okay, was it a case that he was not listening? Because you said that you were warning, like you said, it's like you were on the Titanic. You saw the iceberg. You were telling the captain, but didn't bother. Is it a case that the captain wasn't interested, or was he blocked from hearing the?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
What was the problem?
That's why I'm saying that in the second term, all certain presidents in the second term tend to be on autopilot. I'm sure if the Ken Ofori-Atta matter had happened in the first term, the president would have acted, because he was looking at the second term, and that would have probably informed his decision. You understand? Because nobody can say that we didn't lose this election because of the economy. And I'll give you a soundbite. And the domestic debt exchange didn't just impact the economy, it wounded trust. We must never again put pain without dialogue. Well, the Ghanaian people were told that there were going to be no haircuts. That was a clear statement of intent from the president.
So there was a breach of trust.
Of course. And then the next minute, DDP had been introduced. So they lost money. They lost savings, investment, and pensions. And we saw a former CJ picketing at the Ministry of Finance.
For the first time in our lives.
And that alone, the optics, it policies our perception. So the optics went good. And that cascaded down and affected our electoral fortunes.
Yes, but the question is, and we are still talking about leadership, Akufo-Addo's leadership. This man wanted to be president since 97. I was, 8 years old, or I'm not sure if I was even up to that old. For 20 years, he's been in the wilderness wanting to be leader. Clearly, he had something and knew something. That's why his party pushed him and made him president eventually in 2017. Where did all those skills that we're told about, all the characteristics of this man that we're told about, where did they all go that he becomes president and suddenly, I mean, the physically challenged people in the toll booths were crying, people in the banking sector were crying, DDP people, a former chief justice was complaining. What went wrong? When? How?
But Umaru, it's very different contesting for a position and very different your actions and decisions when you are given the position. Clearly. So I don't think it's 8 years, I believe, ended, and our performance is captured in the data. So I don't think there's any point belaboring that. You've all seen the 8 years of Ronaldo. I've told you that I was a member with him for 8 years, more parliament with him for 8 years. I was a deputy minister with him for 4 years. Yeah. So his best years, as far as I'm concerned, as an insider, were 2018 and 2019. Then COVID struck. So things went downhill. We went into the 2020 elections limping. And then the unfortunate thing happened in 2024. So we have been alerted by the good people of this country that all wasn't well going to the 2020 elections. That's why we had a split parliament.
I saw Musa Dankwa yesterday put out a poll in which he said that your goodwill is going down still as a party. Many of your party members are jumping ship.
It's good you've brought this thing up again. At this current state, John Dramani Mahama has the goodwill of the people. And nobody can take that away from him. You just come out of an election 6 months. 184 members of parliament.
Huge.
56, 7%. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes. So at this stage, it's like a woman falling in love with a man. At the beginning of it, there's nothing to shake that woman
whatever you tell
to even listen to advice. You understand? But it's politics. If we give the NDC time, if we give President Mahama and his NDC time, in the course of time, they will start exposing themselves. For example, Galamsey, the very people who were saying that Nana Akufo-Addo should declare state of emergency, Nana Akufo-Addo should do this shoot and kill policy and what have you. Are the same people in government now? Why are they not talking? Galamsey is still going on. Just before you came here, I was watching Joy News. I was listening to Erastus Donkwasare. And Galamsey is still ongoing. So it shows you that it wasn't an MPP problem. It's a Ghanaian problem.
We have talked about how second terms are usually the last terms of presidents and they could decide not to be bothered. If Akufo-Addo lost, or the MPP lost because of Akufo-Addo's second term, do you foresee NDC suffering as a result of Muhammad's second and final term?
Yes, that's what I said. You see, that's what I said.
What if he decides, he said he's resetting, he could decide to make a difference?
No, but you see, what I said to you, or what I've told other stage, where people are twisting, is that as we speak, 6 months into his government, he has the support of the country. And nothing would shake that support base. Understand? Well, Ghanaians have just come out of an election. And he has the numbers to prove that he has the goodwill of the people. You understand?
He has authority.
And that is what the MPP people must understand. I didn't say that his performance, I didn't talk about performance. I said that he has the goodwill. It's different about his performance. He has the goodwill because it's only 6 months ago that Ghanaians went to polls to vote for him. And not only him. Look at the members of parliament that he got. Unprecedented in the history of our country. So you have to look at all these indicators and say, look, you know what? Let's give him the time to work.
But would that mean you should go on vacation, don't criticize,
no. I'm not saying that.
Don't go on demonstrations.
I'm not saying that, but look at what is happening. People are being dismissed left, right, and center, right? And still, Ghanaians are not complaining. You understand? And there are other factors in the system which should really anger Ghanaians, but they are not because he has the goodwill. But I'm not sure that in 18 months' time, we will talk about these same factors.
So are you saying that let's be quiet and watch? Is that
I'm not saying that. But we must criticize with maturity and experience.
Let
me tell you something. MPP should not be jumping up and down because a member of the party has been invited to go to Yoko.
They shouldn't go and demonstrate.
I'm not saying that. I'm not talking about demonstration. We should not be jumping to every single case that's being conducted by the state agencies.
Why?
Umaru, sometimes there may be no case at all. But the fact that I'm invited to appear before NIB doesn't mean I'm a criminal. Maybe it was a document I signed at the ministry, which they want more information from as part of their investigation. Right? But we should also send a message to Ghanaians that MPP is not a sanctuary or a haven for criminals. Do you understand what I mean? Because we have a nation to build. And if somebody has been invited, just because he was a minister, a deputy minister, or an agency head, to go before BNI or IOCO or the Attorney General to answer questions, why should we be making it appear that the whole party is under siege and everybody is being invited? Yes, if I've been invited, I was a member of the government for the first 4 years. I've been a member of parliament. Why hasn't anybody invited me? But if I'm invited tomorrow to appear, I will go because I know I have nothing to hide. Do you understand? And that should be the refrain. We shouldn't be thinking that everybody arrested, we should be massing up, and no, we should allow the state agencies to work.
If you were Alexander Afenyomarkin, the leader of the minority now, would you have led your members to go sit at the frontage of IOCO when Chairman Wontumi was arrested?
But Umaru, you said if I were, but I'm not. I'm Eugene Boakye Antwi.
And I'm asking this because of what you have just said. So
no,
that is what has happened now. Is it something you agree with?
No, but it's only one out of many. There are so many people who have been invited to the NIB. Yes, one of them, the whole party went there. To me, the solidarity is good. But you see, Ghanaians are also watching us. Well, if indeed somebody has committed a crime against the nation and you are supporting that person, it will go against us electorally. Do you understand? Because Ghanaians are also very, very keen observers of whatever is going on in the political space. Right? The fact that some are being arrested, you know, with cameras and everything on them. The fact that people's homes are being invaded and what have you, does not mean that these people are criminals. We've seen it all before. Once there's a change of government, people rush into homes, people, this kangaroo, whatever. But in the end,
the court will decide.
The court will decide because we have the lawyers to support these people to go to the courts.
It's good you mentioned the courts. The head of the judiciary is on trial, the Chief Justice. What's your comment on what's happening?
My comment is that Article 46 mandates the president to do what he's doing. But we also have to look at it from the point of the Chief Justice in the last press conference. I listened to the entire program.
The press conference,
yes. What we should do is that even in the courtroom, the judge sits there and listens to both sides. So whatever evidence that they have against this lady must be given to her to be able to respond to them. And if indeed, because he was calling for a televised
which is a breach of the Constitution, according to the government.
You see, if you say it's a breach, then they must allow her to also vent, because we don't really know what is going on in there. Her phones are being seized, her spouse is being prevented from entering the room. We are hearing all manner of things. That is why we say, look, if indeed she has committed a crime, nobody will support her. But if indeed she has not, but she's being harassed by the nation, people are just sending dubious petitions and, you know, hateful petitions against the person, then we must all be worried about the future of our judiciary in nation building. Because we don't want somebody to be targeted because of her being appointed by the previous regime. And in the Fourth Republic, President Kufuor made Justice Aban and worked with him. Justice Aban left and all these Supreme Court presidents came and made Judge Wood work with her. So what has changed? So people who have a vendetta against this woman, they should search their conscience. Well, if indeed she has committed a crime, nobody will support her. But I believe she has answered almost all the things against her. All the allegations against her have been answered. And she's proven that the things that are being put out there are not true.
Do you get a sense that there's vindictiveness against former government appointees and now the Chief Justice as well?
I won't use the word vindictiveness. I will say that if an allegation is made, we are all well-meaning people. Let's look at what the evidence is before we jump to conclude.
You are sounding very moderate, but that could be interpreted by your party members to mean you are against the NPP, sympathetic of the NDC. What would you say to that?
Why am I sympathetic of the NDC?
That you're being kind. You're not being attacking.
No,
you're not.
But why should you see? The thing is that I've been a member of parliament in this country for 8 years. I've been a deputy minister. I'm not an ordinary Ghanaian who just jump on a propaganda bandwagon. Do you understand? If things come to me, I have to internalize it.
But they tell us that the opposition's job is to oppose.
No, so you oppose because of what? So if today Umaru was an MPP minister at Nana Akufo-Addo, indeed Umaru has stolen state money, right? And then I jump to your defense, and then I'm shown the evidence that indeed Umaru, got himself involved in a contract.
You still defend me because we are from the Elephant Party.
No, I wouldn't defend you.
So that's not your kind of politics.
No, because you see, I'm saying that Ghanaians vote for us. Not all those who vote for us are MPP. Bear that at the back of your mind.
Okay.
There are so many floating voters in this country. Ghanaians vote for us because we are a decent lot. You understand? So if I go and stand out there to defend somebody who has clearly embezzled state funds or stolen state funds, then what am I saying to the party? That the MPP has now become a sanctuary or a haven for criminals.
Based on what you have said now, may suggest that you have no problem with the Akufo-Addo appointed special prosecutor going after the Akufo-Addo appointed finance minister.
No, but we passed the law. It was my tenure as an MP.
Yeah.
He passed the law. And if he's doing his work, what is wrong with it? The fact that he's going after someone doesn't mean he has a case against the person.
They say it's vendetta of a kind.
Well, if it's a vendetta,
they say it's family feud.
Whatever it is, when the man is well, you come home and face the law.
He says the man is well. He's just pretending. And,
we don't know that.
And being a fugitive of justice.
We don't know that.
Do you think the SP is being unnecessarily harsh in the matters relating specifically to Ken Ofori-Atta?
Well, you see, we don't know. Like I said, we don't know the kind of evidence he's sitting on. So it's not fair on my part to jump, because he's come out with 5 clear charges, right? Mm-hmm. And apparently some GRA heads have been arrested and detained, mm-hmm. and what have you. So maybe he has, strong evidence, in these matters.
Okay.
And we don't know.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying, that we must tread cautiously.
Very well. This is Face to Face on Channel 1 Television. My guest is the Honorable Eugene Boakye Antwi, former MP for Subin, former Deputy Minister. We've talked so far about the key things leading up to the defeat of the NPP, the state of affairs now and what's happening in Mahama's first step. When we come back, how can they steer the NPP ship back onto victory lines? He wants to be a leader of the party. Is he the solution to the party's problems? Again, choosing a flag bearer. Should that be done before local executives are chosen, or local executives should be chosen before national executive? The party has chosen the former. Does he agree with the party? Please stay with us.
Curious about what's happening beyond your borders? Beyond Borders takes you there. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m., join Caleb Kuda as he explores the stories that shape our world, connecting you with Ghanaians in other cultures and seeing the world through their eyes.
So we've learned one thing: you leave your shoes outside.
Wow. Tuesdays,
yeah.
I won't go to Ghana dressed in a Lacoste.
As director of operations.
From international politics to the human stories that define nations, Beyond Borders brings you a fresh perspective of Ghanaians around the world, one conversation at a time. Beyond Borders with Caleb Kuda airs Wednesdays at 7 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
You're welcome back. This Face to Face on Channel 1 Television. In the beginning of my program, I used some adjectives to describe the NPP. I said the NPP was in a turmoil. I said the NPP, you disagreed. I mean, I saw you shaking your head.
We are at a crossroad. Yes.
But when I said crossroad, that you agree with. You don't agree at a turmoil where all these things happening, that you are at a very confused. In fact, it could even be said Chino Achebe's things fall apart could be used to describe your situation.
I disagree completely.
Things have not fallen apart. The center is holding. You don't have a center.
No. Let me tell you something. Mm-hmm. In 2016, after the NDC's disastrous performance, we had 169 seats, and Akufo-Addo won about 53-54%. Mm-hmm. NDC went through a similar thing. Who even thought that John Mahama was going to run again? Who even thought? I don't know, he himself had decided not to even contest. But 8 years on, he's the president of Ghana. You see, so every political party, when you lose an election as abysmal as we lost in December, of course, a lot of things will happen. People will point fingers. People will, do. But the most important thing is how to reorganize the party.
But the reorganization appears to be in tatters itself.
It's not. It's not. It's just that we are failing to appreciate the anger from Ghanaians against the party. The arrogance of power, our tone, and the party people gap are all things we have to address before. You see, we have an image problem. And like rightly said, if some of us, when nominations open, we are going to contest for this position, for the General Secretary of the party, is to rebuild the soul of the party.
That is lost?
That has been shattered. You understand? The soul of the party has been shattered to a degree. And that is what we must focus on. If we say we are not going to focus on that, then what are we going to do? And as a General Secretary, you have to build a listening secretariat, right from constituency all the way to national.
Is there a leadership vacuum currently?
Of course. I mean, I think you can clearly say that leading up to the elections, there was a paralysis of leadership.
When you were in power, and
Yes.
now that you are not in power, how is it like?
Well, what has changed? We have a national chairman who is unwell. We've been told very lately that he's unwell.
He's excused himself.
Yes, he's excused himself. So all that.
There's a general
when did he
secretary.
fall ill? And all that. The party is not run by the general secretary. The party is run by the chairman. He's the head.
But the general secretary, the chief administrator.
But he takes instructions from the chairman and the committee. So it's a national executive committee.
Okay, so then it makes sense that the party says, let's get a leader first, where the leader now becomes the flag bearer.
No, that is totally different. You see, it's like we left Parliament, we left the 8th Parliament. Did we elect a speaker for the incoming 9th Parliament?
No.
Does it make sense?
I don't know.
I'm asking you a question.
Your party wants to do that.
You have been a parliamentary correspondent. Have you not?
Yes.
Have you seen an outgoing parliament?
You are a master of your rules. If you decided
No,
that that's what
it
you want
will
to
never
do.
happen.
Your party has
It
decided that
will
it
never
wants to
happen,
master its
Umaru.
own rules.
It will never happen. And it's very clear. The reason why it won't happen is that you are not going to be part of that parliament. So why do you want to impose somebody on us?
But in this case, the flag bearer will be part of this particular
Yes.
party.
But what is the flag bearer going to do? The flag bearer is going to lead the party into an election.
Yes.
That's his job. Simple.
The argument is that if you choose a flag bearer before you choose lower level executives, you are essentially choosing executives who are fully committed to the cause of this flag bearer. So there will be no division, there will be a unity of purpose.
Who told you that? It has never happened. And let me assure you, our election processes are well rooted in this constitution. And when people are reading this constitution and being selective and being disingenuous about its application, that is what I want to draw your attention. You cannot take just a provision of the constitution and read and run away. No constitution is read like that. It must be read holistically. Go to Article 10. Why are they not quoting Article 10? Why are they jumping to Article 13?
What does 10 say?
Well, national organization, listen carefully and viewers respectfully. There shall be a national organization of the party, which shall consist of the national annual delegates conference.
Okay.
That's the supreme, followed by Congress. Congress is when you elect the flag bearer. Then that's the Congress,
Yeah.
right? And then National Council, National Executive. So how can you go to a National Council meeting and take a decision? The power is delegated to you from conference.
Yes.
So you take a decision at National Council and you say it's final. How can that be final?
But they are going to conference in July.
No, they have not said that. You see, that is what is generating the heat. If you have said yes, in 1995, B.J. Darocha was the chairman of the party. When the party decided to hold its Congress in March 1996, he took the recommendation of council to conference and got conference to endorse it. So we've seen it before.
But what's the purpose of the conference coming up this month, July?
Well,
is it not supposed to endorse this position of council?
If you listen to those propagating the decision of conference, of council, they are saying that it's final. How can that be final when you are acting on delegated power? Because the National Council, the National Annual Delegate Conference is a supreme body. So anybody who is acting under that is using delegated power. Do you understand my logic?
Subject to confirmation.
Yes. So in 1995, when National Council took the decision that we cannot do the primaries in 95, but we are going to push it to March 1996, BJ Darocha, our seminal BJ Darocha of blessed memory, took that recommendation to conference for endorsement. You understand?
And it was endorsed.
And it's endorsed.
Would this...
So now, if they are said, look, we are going to meet, there are so many, because first and foremost, the Okoye report is talking about a defective delegate structure.
Not a top.
Yes, Okoye committee report, which they are holding close to their chest, is talking about a defective delegate structure. So if the delegate structure is defective, why do you want to put a roof on it?
So fix it from the base.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, 1 minute, 1 minute. Lawyer Frank Davis, who chaired that Constitutional Review Committee, also proposed certain amendments to be done, and after that, we go through the election to elect the flag bearer. Why are they not talking about those amendments?
Okay, help me understand this. You have a conference coming up in July. Is this not supposed to have the General Secretary put these proposals there for confirmation?
The General Secretary, it's not his job to do that. It's the chairman's job. The chairman chairs all committees, conferences. It's a chairman's duty.
Okay, regardless.
So the absence of him is the first vice.
No problem. So if in July, the first vice comes to Congress or conference and says that A, B, C, D is our proposal that we choose a flag bearer before we choose executive, and the people in the stadium or wherever you're going to do say, yeah, would you say that that's proper?
Of course, that is the proper thing.
So then that's the thing they're going to do. So
No.
why are you protesting?
Umaru, you have
before?
not been listening to them.
Okay.
I've listened attentively that day. I listened to the General Secretary on Asempa on Channel 1. I think Bernard Able interviewed him.
Yes.
I've listened to him. Yes. I've listened to Nana Komia, a former legislator. Yeah. I've listened to him. I've listened to other media people from the party. I've listened to them. They are saying that the decision taken by council is final. And that is where the ball hits the roof.
So this is in relation to the decision that you are going to vote on January 31st. Even that, you are saying that shouldn't have been announced yet.
No. You see, even if that decision was taken account, council is made up of 120 members. Conference is made up of about 4,000. Everybody is there. All the council executives, all the MPs, they're all there. How many people attend the council? So, the power used on the day was a delegated power. So now, whatever went on at council must be tabled in a motion form at conference. You understand? And that motion, once endorsed or accepted or approved, because the motion can be modified, rejected, or accepted. Three things will happen to a motion. Three things happen to a motion. You've been a parliamentary correspondent, so you know what I'm about. So once they say, yes, we agree that we should let the flag bearer first, that's fine. But you cannot go and take a decision at council and impose it on conference. It's not done. It's like a high court taking a decision and imposing on Supreme Court.
So it is unconstitutional what has happened, you believe?
It's not unconstitutional. It's not unconstitutional. They have gone to take a decision, right? Which is, they are mandated to do that.
Yeah.
But that decision is subject to the endorsement of conference.
All right, then why are we fretting? Because the conference is coming up.
Because of the language.
Okay, so because of the comments around
because of the language that, it's final. And you see, they are restricting themselves to Article 13.
So if in July they go and then the delegates agree, that's fine. However,
that becomes a party decision.
Okay, but until then, do you think structurally there's a problem with this bottom-up approach? Whether or not
bottom up is that what bottom is what we've been doing since
top bottom.
Top bottom. We've never done it.
Which is what you are planning to do now.
Yes, we've never done it. Jake tried to implement it. May he rest his peace. And it was shut down because we've never implemented it. And the reason why you do that is that you want the very people who are doing the election to elect their own coordinators, their own constituency executives. It comes all the way up, and every delegate of the party is entitled to a 4-year lifespan. You understand? It's like the presidency of Ghana, 4 years you're out. So you either have to go and renew your mandate to become a delegate again. So now, what you are saying to me is that those delegates, some of them will contest elections and losing. Those are the ones who are going to choose the presidential candidate for us. So who's going to campaign for that presidential candidate? Well, they didn't choose him.
So your point now is that those who will be voting in January may be removed when they get to their own Congress.
Yes.
And if that happens, new people will come. And those new people may not align with the person who has been chosen.
So that is what God get more clear. So the indiscipline and the disunity will then rear its head there.
But what about the counter argument that you have a strong flag bearer chosen who is going to have a say in who is going to be chosen next
we
time?
We don't need to even bring in flag bearer. We're talking about the party.
But the flag bearer becomes your leader.
No, the flag bearer needs a formidable party to win an election.
Can't you have a driver who chooses his mates instead of a mate choosing the driver?
You know what? Let me tell you something. If you're not careful and don't think about organizing the party and making a more formidable machine, you can even go and bring Barack Obama here. You come and lose. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. Because the flag bearer, you see, what happened when somebody left a major party and said he was running independent? How many votes did he get? So you run on the ticket of a party. The party is supreme in all cases.
Do you think the National Council was towing any candidate or aspirant's line when they did what they did?
I'm not interested because I wasn't there. My defense is the Constitution. Okay. Let's abide by what is here.
Okay. What
is here is what is enduring.
What about
what is the undying, which are the undying principles of the New Patriotic Party?
We are seeing a clash of disagreement. I mean, of views by the various aspirants on this top-bottom approach. Who do you think would stand to win, and who do you think would stand to lose in this decision of the party?
It's not. You see, my interest is. I keep telling you, Umaru. I've said time with that number. That my interest is not who will win. My interest is that we have a strong party.
But you have to care who wins.
No, you see, the win will come from the 500, 600,000 delegates. We cannot sit in Accra and predict that. But our job is to ensure that whoever wins, I've told you, I've worked with Dr. Baumia since 2014. We were both on the elections committee. He was the chairman, I was the secretary, with Professor Michael Kwe and Honorable Mark Mweno and co. I've been in parliament with Brian Champong, Dr. Duchum, Kennedy Japan for 8 years. I've been in the room with them. I've known Boakye Jakun since 2008. It's like an avuncular figure in my life. Kennedy Japan is like an elder brother. Adenimu, say, Jugati is like an uncle to me. I know I have a working relationship with all of them. I want to be a general secretary who can walk confidently to their houses and tell them to come and join the campaign. If an unfortunate thing happens and they don't succeed. You
don't want to be a general secretary who chooses the winning guy and be with the winning guy?
Yes, but as a general secretary, I have a vote, don't I?
Yes.
So I'll vote. But my job is to ensure that when all is said and done, whoever emerges, I can confidently walk to them and they have every faith in me that I was fair to them.
Is it not the case that you're trying to look into multiple bottles with one eye?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
Because you're trying to be favorable to all of them.
No, because see, what would I gain if I did something against any of them?
No, you're not going to do something against. You're going to choose the person you think is
but
best.
You see,
fit.
The noise is that people feel that we are only interested in selecting a flag bearer. We are not interested in what caused the defeat. And if you look at...
But you have already done that. The Okoye thing has...
No, but Okoye, do you know what's in there?
No, they said they are using it for the internal...
But when Okoye said that we should select a flag bearer first, why did he say that?
But National Council supersedes Okoye. Because National Council appointed Okoye.
National Council is on borrowed power from
delegates
conference. So National Council is not a body. It's not a supreme body when it comes to decision making and taking decisions. You see, people are just being selective and quoting Article 30. They should read Article 10 conjunctively with Article 13.
This issue of choosing a flag bearer, it's always actually been in the mix, hasn't it? So that your party itself has said that whenever you're in opposition, you should choose flag bearers early. It means there's a problem with the flag bearer thing, and that's why you want to fix that.
We just made a point, but maybe you want viewers to pay heed to what we are discussing. So you are bringing it up again. Yeah. You choose the flag bearer today. A has been chosen. You then go and start the polling station elections and work all the way up. What we have witnessed in this party is that anytime we do polling station elections, about 65% of them don't come back. Regional, about 30 to 40% don't come back. National, sometimes all of them go. Maybe one or two remain. So what you are trying to tell me is that you want somebody who is going out to come and select a leader for you. So the next person will come and say, but I didn't select him. He wasn't my choice. And have you cured anything? You have not cured anything. If anything, you have compounded the problem. So let's build from the base. Let's reorganize the party. Let's start with elections, because all these elections can start. If you go to conference in July, August, we can start the elections. with police stations.
You don't have time.
Oh, elections, August.
You have been
police
battered
stations.
and bruised. You need to quickly work and get
No,
the flag bearer
but we are
quickly and
going to
start
elect-
selling that
No,
flag
even
bearer.
we are going to go by their date. It's 31st January, right?
Yes, yes.
So August, we start the polling stations. September, we do electoral area and constituency. I've done it before. We do region in November, national in December. So January we can still do the president. That's what the structure will be there.
So you think it is still possible to
You
have
see,
your system
Umaru,
running?
nobody has a difficulty with the date. What we are saying is that let's do what has served this party well. Because I'll just give you an example. The members of the 8th Parliament couldn't have elected a leader for the 9th Parliament. It's not done anywhere.
So if you were General Secretary, you wouldn't
I
endorse...
will not entertain this, let alone endorse it. Because I know that this has served the, people talk about 96, that the road chatted for. I say, look, 96, there were no police station executives. There were no police station executives.
You have former DCEs, you have who have served in the last administration. They are going to be part of the people who will be voting.
No, by subject to conference.
Okay, I'm just saying that if conference
And
were
former
to...
MPs and all that, subject to conference.
Are you suspecting that... Can conference actually overturn this?
Overturn what?
This decision of national
But it's
council?
not a decision. So why do you take conference?
Okay, this proposal.
It's a
of
proposal.
national-
It's not a decision.
My reason for asking is that you
No,
and I have,
Umaru,
you and I have
Umaru,
gone to... You see, we have gone
let's
to
choose our
conferences...
words carefully.
Okay.
It's not a decision.
It's a proposal.
It's a proposal.
But if it was not a decision, why do we know that you
No, because
you vote for a flag bearer on 31st
it's all right because
January?
they set a date for the elections.
So it's
That
not
is fine.
tentative.
It's tentative, but it's not a decision that's good. The decision will emanate from conference.
Honorable, you see, you and I have gone to conferences and congresses. Conference and congress, people are busy singing and dancing. When these serious things are put
But
to a
it's
vote,
a very serious. But a lot of people will sing and dancing because you see,
we have seen things put, and when the general secretary or whoever stands and says
chairman will do it.
amendment to A, B, C, D, as many as in favor say I mean, generally it's a discretionary thing. Me, I don't really think that's very democratic. I think a room of 100 plus people who cast the ballot is more, perhaps more cogent than going to a rowdy stadium and saying that asking them
let me
to
ask you
choose.
something.
Yeah.
Is MPP interested in electing a president or a flag bearer?
A president.
So, if the vehicle that the president is going to sit in to travel from Kumasi to Paga, not Accra to Paga,
Yes.
it's not a well-functioning vehicle. Where does that leave you?
You choose a good driver who knows how to fix the vehicle on the way, even if it
Can the
breaks
driver
down.
fix the vehicle? It's a mechanic who fixes the vehicle, not the driver.
No, that's why you choose a driver who knows how to fix it. Because that's the sense I get, that they want to choose a strong flag bearer.
You see,
And everybody would evolve around that flag bearer.
we've been in this game. You know, I've been a frontline politician
Yes.
over 2 decades now.
Yeah.
We've been here before. It didn't help the party. So let's tread cautiously.
Who
The
is
reason why I'm
pushing-
saying
who
that
is
is
pushing
that
this interest?
I don't know. I'm not even interested. I'm interested in my constitution and what will happen on conference floor. I'm not interested with whoever is interested is their business. But my take on the whole matter is that let's walk gingerly. You understand? Let's do the reforms. Let's do the internal elections and crown it with the election of the flag bearer. You understand? By that time, the party would have healed. And also, you must also bear in mind that if care is not taken and we don't come together as a party to, bring all the forces together, right, as one to prosecute the agenda, it's going to be very difficult for us to win. And I don't want a situation where all the aspirants will feel that this is being done in the name of one person. That also doesn't help. Well, you win and they all go and sit at home.
You have John Kufuor and Akufo-Addo, 2 former presidents who are like the most senior people in your party now. What do you think they can or should do in this current situation?
I don't think any of them will subscribe to it.
Do you think they should,
we'll feel done from the base.
do you think they should publicly say something?
Oh,
about
I'm sure. In a way, they have publicly done that. You can tell from the from the grapevine that let's stick to what we've done. It's a conservative party. Let's stick to what we've done better. What I said as well, right? We go, we do the reforms, we do the internal elections, we crown the election of the presidential candidate maybe around summer of next year. Because
don't say summer. In Ghana, we don't do summer. Say September of next year.
Okay, July of next year.
July next year. This is face to face.
No, 1 minute. Even if we let the flag bearer now,
Yes.
he can't campaign.
Why?
In Ghana, even the current, even Nanado, the President Kufuor, in campaigning for his second term. Why don't they start the campaign? Around June, July of 2020. So you can't really campaign. But Ghanaians will make up their minds in 18 times.
No, but because he was sitting president, but opposition, you
but
can
you don't know. What are you going to do?
You sell yourself, market yourself.
Where are you going to get resources? Do you think it's that simple? You see, we've been here before. I said, look, at least I have followed the Kufuor 3 presidential elections, and I know what is in there. There's not so much I can say here. But when has a presidential candidate, Muhammad, when was he elected? And when did he start campaigning?
I think 2 years before the election.
But when did he start campaigning?
At the tail end.
And people will say, oh, he's sick, he's not well. But you see, it's not that he didn't have the resources to do that.
Looking for money. This is face to face. Honorable Eugene Boakye Antwi, my guest. When we come back, aside this bottom matter, if he were to be successful in being general secretary of the party, what can he do to revive the party? Can the party really rise ahead of the 2028 election? We saw NDC go in opposition for 8 years and it's back. Does it mean automatically that MPP can also come back? Please say.
In a world filled with challenges, we all need guidance, hope, and a lifeline to anchor us.
This is Lifeline, and I'm your host, Fred Crunchy Mensah.
From social issues, relationship challenges, and family matters, Lifeline is here to inspire, uplift, and guide you on your journey.
Where we give you support, where we hold your hand through the valley and through the thick and thins of life.
Join Bishop Fred Crunchy Mensah.
I welcome you especially to Lifeline.
Every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on Channel 1 TV. Let's walk this path together, strengthen our faith, our families, and our lives. Lifeline, because every soul deserves a guiding light. Tune in to Lifeline on Channel 1 TV and let's grow together.
You're welcome back. This Face to Face on Channel 1 TV. Honorable Boakye Antwi, you want to be general secretary of the party. How can your party be revived from this crushing defeat that you suffered? In fact, like I said, Musa Dankwa's poll suggests that you guys are still having many people run away or abandon your ship. How can you get the people back on the ship?
Well, I'm offering myself to serve as general secretary of the party, not because of the position, but for a purpose. I serve as a bridge between the old and the young. I'm 55 years old now.
Okay.
And I served at every level of the party. I was a former MPP UK secretary, came home, member of the 2008-2012 campaign in Ashanti, served on National Council for 4 years under Jacob Echebelamte, may he so rest in peace, became a member of parliament, served 2 terms as the deputy minister. So every layer of the party I've served. And I think this is the appropriate time, or this is the opportune time for me to get in there, general secretary, to steady the ship, right? Why do you have to steady the ship? I think these are some things I'm talking about. I think we are, in too much of a hurry to do certain things. You must take our time to project an image to Ghanaians, an image that drew people towards us in the early years of the formation of this party. The party of intellectuals, the party, the better manager of the economy, the party of rule of law. We seem to be losing touch with all these words and phrases, and that is one of the things that I'm also a firm believer in speaking truth to power. But like President Kufuor said, if you observe the results of 2016, 2020, 2024 very well, Ghanaians are getting matured and more discerning now. You understand? And we must always try and understand the Ghanaian, have a leadership that's more reachable, not removed, and getting to appreciate what their predicaments are. We are failing to do all that. And if God willing, nominations open and I file and I'm successful, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to ensure that there's unity in the party. Clearly, we can tell that there's no unity in the party. And, we have to be deliberate about unity.
Can you deal with the people who want to lead the party in case any of them lose?
Why not?
You have big names in there.
Yes, but, that's like I said, they've all been working colleagues. I've known these people for a decade. I've worked with all of them. And so long as they know that, you see, I'm not going to be a general secretary for a flag bearer. I'm going to be a general secretary for the New Patriotic Party. And that is what you need.
Do you think that was what lacked in the last
Oh
election?
yes. You see,
Was your general secretary too docile?
I'm not going to talk about anybody here. I'm talking about myself. What I want us to understand is that if you are there for the party and protecting the party's image and interest, they will all gravitate towards you because they know you have been fair to them. You understand?
So you be a strong man.
Of course, the demands of the job require a very strong person, a very assertive person, a dyed-in-the-wool party person who understands the tradition and who will always ensure that there's always unity before an election. We should be fair to all. At the end of the day, there's been more, I would say, more intense contest in this party than what we are witnessing. But a leader will always be produced by the delegates. Your job is to ensure that whoever emerges, will come and work comfortably into your arms for you to make sure that you do the right things for the party to win power.
If the party at conference decides to go with a proposal by council, would you withdraw from the race? Because that would make you a stooge or a poodle of whichever flag bearer is going to be appointed.
I am a member of the party. I'm not the party. So once we go to conference, and I'm a Democrat, for God's sake. So if a motion is tabled,
yes,
and majority say yes, we want to do that first, who am I?
But to go against your principle that your flag bearer is not the one to decide.
But there are a lot of things in this constitution that I don't agree with. But it's there. But
that means that you don't stick to your principles.
No. What are the principles?
The principle is that
I'm only challenging how they are going on. They saying the decision of council is final. That is my difficulty.
But that notwithstanding, structurally, you still even think that it is wrong to have a flag bearer before a polling station executive. And I'm saying that if the party decides that this is what we're going to do, it goes against your principles.
Why does it go against my principles? I'm a member of the party. I subject myself to conference.
Okay.
So when conference takes a decision, it's binding on me. Okay. I cannot go out. Once conference has spoken, I cannot be granted this kind of interviews. Okay. I'm only granted this interview because council
is yet to decide.
Council is taking a proposal in the form of a motion to conference.
You want to run for general secretary? That requires a lot of money. Do you have the resources? Because you have been in opposition even though you were in government for some time.
I've never been in opposition.
Oh, you were not a minister.
That doesn't mean I was in opposition. My government was still in power. My party was still in power. So.
But you were not enjoying the.
That's what you think.
So you have resources?
Well, as a politician, those who believe in you will provide the resources.
You are going against an incumbent general secretary.
Well, he also went against an incumbent secretary.
So it's not a big deal
at all.
Do you have an endorsement from any senior person in the party?
Well, is it for me to sit here and say it out there?
No, perhaps that would endear the delegation.
I've received favorable responses and support.
Where would you say your base is?
My base is MPP.
Yeah, but which part of the country is your base?
Everywhere. Do you know where I've lived in this country?
No. Tell me.
There's everywhere.
I know you're MP for Subin, but where else?
Yes, but I'm not a typical Kumasi boy. I grew up elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
I would say yes, it would be a typical Kumasi boy. I spent more of my time in Kumasi. But I grew up in other regions in Ghana.
Do you have an interest in who should run for chairman?
No. It does not. You see, my business is the general secretary.
Okay. Why not going back to parliament?
Why am I not going back?
Seeking to go back.
I've done 8 years. It's okay.
How is it okay? That people have done 20 years. People have done beyond 20 years.
Yeah, they chose to do that. They chose to be career parliamentarians.
Are you afraid that if you go, you lose again?
So why am I putting myself up for a bigger election then?
No, maybe because you're the Subin people, they may go that.
No,
they'll finish me.
But I have served my 8 years as a member of parliament for Subin.
You have a right to more than 8 years.
Yes. No. Well, they chose to vote me out.
Truncated your race.
Yes, that's fine. God has opened a new chapter for me in my life. So I wish my successor, a great time there on the seat.
Let me ask you a question, and I want you to answer like a statesman. Yes, because I believe, based on what you have done, you have reached that level, and you should be able to answer. What do you think would happen to Ghana if John Mahama fails? But I'm not, you see, I want him to fail. I want my party to win the 2028 election. So you want him to fail? I don't want him to fail as in fail. But I know they can't do, the NDC, the kind of things that I saw when we were in government. The same Ghanaians in the NDC. So it will be, transferred across there. But, I don't want Mahama to succeed
as in succeeding, because I want my party to win.
That's not you thinking nationalistically.
Oh,
that's not you being patriotic.
But do you think I want the NDC to remain in power after 2028?
But
what's the point of it coming to be general secretary?
But you want the country to see progress. And if
of course,
progress,
but everybody will come and do their bit. The Kufuor came and did his bit, Kufuor came and did his bit, Mahama, Mills, they all came and did their bit. But in terms of actual management of this economy, I don't think the NDC has what it takes.
2020.
Although my brother Atuforsen is the finance minister.
He's doing a good job.
At the moment, people are saying so.
Your dollars are showing so.
But the people are not being paid.
Who says so? Why have you not seen people demonstrating?
People are not being paid. Oh, but you saw the next stuff like a few days
that's
ago.
The backlog of what you left behind. 2028, is
when
it
you take over a government,
yes,
you take over the assets and the liabilities.
2028, is it too early for you to win the election?
It's not too early.
You think you can
That's
win?
why I said if you fix the party machinery, instill discipline, ensure there's unity, and we all come together. Why not? LPP is a formidable election winning machine.
You think 2028 you can win?
Highly possible.
Highly possible. That sounds like Dr. Bawumia's support.
Your words.
Honorable Eugene Boakye Antwi, thank you so much for joining us on Facebook.
Thank you.
So that was Honorable Eugene Boakye Antwi, former member of parliament for Subin, former deputy minister of works and housing. He wants to be general secretary of the New Patriotic Party. I am Umaru Sanda. This has been Face to Face on Channel 1 Television.